Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to NFL Talk. I'm using a different camera this time. Let me know if you like the quality or not. But welcome to the NFL Honors Award Show. Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. This is the NFL Honors Award Show, where we basically give out an award to a bunch of big sweaty guys, I guess. So, something that I'm not sure if women are willing to join that party, but nonetheless, it's good, so I would like to congratulate the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl right now, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody give a round of applause. Yes, all right. So, the storyline of this game is that we have, of course, for Black History Month, which makes this, pretty cool. We have two black quarterbacks. The first time in Super Bowl history that we got two black quarterbacks starting in this game. Now, while it may be, there might be a scandal going around, everybody. I don't want to alarm anyone, but there might honestly be a scandal going around on whether or not Patrick Mahomes is actually black. But, it is what it is. Like, his father's black, so I guess, that does consider him black. But sometimes I, watch the dude and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, the dude looks lighter than me. He looks lighter than this freaking light up here. But nonetheless, that is a scandal going around, everybody, so don't be alarmed. But there is a scandal going around on people trying to ask on whether or not, Patrick Mahomes is actually black or is he white. But, maybe that Cincinnati mayor was onto something. Maybe that Cincinnati mayor was onto something when he was asking if there should be a paternity test put on Patrick Mahomes on whether or not Joe Burrow is his father or not. I'm not gonna lie, when you look at their skin tones, you almost could, not really tell the difference. But, nonetheless, in all seriousness, though, I am a big Patrick Mahomes fan. I will always be a Cowboys fan first, but I am a big Patrick Mahomes fan second. But, yeah, I will be rooting for him in this Super Bowl. So, Eagle fans, you can just go, yeah, all right. You can fill in the blanks however you want. Nonetheless, people, this is the NFL Honors Award Show. This is the time for everybody to enjoy themselves and enjoy a great night. This is the NFL Honors Award Show. Let's get into it. Into this, guys. So we will be back here in a bit. Alright, guys. So that was basically supposed to be my opening monologue. You know how like the host of the NFL Honors Award show, I am your host of the NFL Honors Award show. Whether it's Steve Harvey, whether it's Michael, whether it's Michael Keegan or Keegan Michael, whether it's who was the other guy that also hosted the NFL Honors Award show. It feels like I've been watching Steve Harvey every single year, but yeah. So that was basically my plan. That was my take and what I was trying to do. That was my opening monologue, where the host basically says some stuff and some facts, some Super Bowl stuff, and they might sneak a couple jokes in there to make people laugh. I'm not funny, all right. I'm not that funny. So, but at least I can tell myself at least I tried. So I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one. But anyway, yeah. So let's now get back to business. It is the NFL Honors Award show, and I'm about to go down this list of awards and talk about every single one of them that I think is going to win this award. Now, it's going to be, of course, the show is going to be, starting at 9, so I have some time for this video to, get edited and uploaded. So, let's get into this. First up, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. To any people who are new to this and how this all works, Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to any offensive player that is a rookie who you vote on and pick who you believe out of all those offensive rookies who had the best season. So in my case, I decided Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Kenneth Walker III. Now, it was, it was kind of, like a seesaw battle. I didn't know whether I wanted to say Kenneth Walker or if I wanted to say Chris Olave. In the end, I decided to pick Kenneth Walker. I do actually believe he had the best season, than Chris Olave, with him being a running back. And I'm not going to lie, running back do get the award more, and this is why. I mean, you look at the numbers, 228 carries, 1,050 yards, and 9 rushing touchdowns. Those are all, I believe, one-ups of Chris Olave's statistics as far as yards and touchdowns. So, that is my Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, to my Defensive Rookie of the Year. My Defensive Rookie of the Year, basically, it's just like Offensive Rookie of the Year, but now it's on the defensive side of the ball. You give it to whichever defensive rookie had the best season. And so, with that being said, my Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Tariq Woolen. Speaking of Seattle Seahawks, yeah, I have Tariq Woolen on here. Tariq Woolen was I believe he was a 6th round draft pick, I think. This past year, he was a 6th round draft pick. Nobody expected him to come out of nowhere and just explode onto the scene and have the season that he had as a rookie. For the season, he had interceptions. 1 was returned for a touchdown. He had 16 passes defended and 63 tackles. That is a really good season for the young buck, for the kid. And for all Seattle fans and even some average football fans, they're just hoping that this kid can, keep this up, playing at a high level like this. So with that, we got through our offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Now it's time to get into the offensive and defensive players of the year. Now, offensive and defensive player of the year is basically they're not rookies. It just goes out to whichever offensive player had the best season. And for me, my offensive player of the year goes to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson this year caught 128 passes for 1,809 yards and 8 touchdown receptions. Without Justin Jefferson's monster season, the Minnesota Vikings probably more than likely do not go 13-4. There were actually some people that thought that Justin Jefferson should be up for league MVP. Because we're talking about most valuable player. Without Justin Jefferson, the Vikings do not have the season that they had this year. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you. So, yes, I have Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year, and now it's time to get to my Defensive Player of the Year award. Defensive Player of the Year. There is an honorable mention in here. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons this year had 13.5 sacks. I believe he had like 40-something or 50-something tackles. He had a great year, and it just barely won up his rookie year where he had 13 sacks. This year he had 13.5. I think that he was dealing with a lot of injuries this year, and that's the reason why he kind of slowed down, down the stretch of the season. But I think he can get back to his dominant ways with the off season to recover. But with that, he is my honorable mention, my player who I have in second for Defensive Player of the Year. But in first, this is the player that two average football fans should know pretty well. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is my Defensive Player of the Year. He had 51 tackles and 18.5 sacks. And when I look at Defensive Player of the Year, and I look at the 49ers, they had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Alright, they had the best defense in the league. And I look at it as, why not give the Defensive Player of the Year award to the guy who was the best defensive player on the best defense in the NFL? So I went with Nick Bosa, who led the league, of course, with 18.5 sacks. The 49ers went 13-4 thanks to his defensive effort, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game where they got clapped by the Philadelphia Eagles. So now up next, I have Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, to anybody who, again, is new to football, Comeback Player of the Year, I promise you, is not about what NFL player, made, the most comebacks in the NFL. Like what quarterback made the most comeback, drives of the NFL. That's not what it is. Comeback Player of the Year goes to a player who had a season-ending injury last year, or somebody who was, in the basement, somebody who it looked like their career might have been over, and then all of a sudden their career was rejuvenated with this season. You think about guys like Doug Flutie in 1998 when he won Comeback Player of the Year, coming back to the NFL after, spending all those years in the CFL. And he comes back to the Buffalo Bills, and as the season that he had, winning the AFC East for the Buffalo Bills, and they wound up, getting, I believe they got to the, divisional round, I think. But, yeah. So, that's what Comeback Player of the Year is. So, Comeback Player of the Year goes to, drum roll please, Geno Smith, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, you think about a guy who, it looked like he was a draft bust when he was with the Jets, and he had basically become like a journeyman, and he was with the, and then, he got to the Seattle Seahawks where he was Russell Wilson's backup, for 2 years. Well, now he is the quarterback after he beat out Drew Lock for the starting job, and he took the Seattle Seahawks by storm and getting them to the playoffs with the impressive season that he had. Let me just go through his stats. 4,200 or 4,282 passing yards, 30 touchdown passes, 100.9 rating, and he had a 70 completion percentage, which led the NFL. So, now, Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year goes to which coach had the most impressive season? Who stood out the most in the NFL? Stood out the most, as far as their coaching season. Well, for me, I gave Coach of the Year to Doug Peterson. The guy used to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Then he got fired. He was out for a year, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars thought that, maybe they got something, with this new head coach. And then Urban Meyer happened. And so then they hired Doug Peterson to be their new head coach. And you see what he has done to develop Trevor Lawrence in his second year. 25 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. That's a pretty good year. All right. There was no sophomore slump for Trevor Lawrence. If anything, it was a sophomore splash, which is fitting for the fact that they're in hot and humid Jacksonville, Florida. So he took a big splash his sophomore year this year, and Jacksonville won the division, AFC South champs. They went from worst to first. That's what Doug Peterson did for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. They went from worst to first, people. So, yeah. So, Doug Peterson won the division for them. You know, they had that incredible, insane comeback against the Chargers in the wild card round before getting bounced out in the divisional round by Kansas City. Up next, we have NFL Most Valuable Player. Most Valuable Player goes to, well, I think it says it in the name, the most valuable player in the NFL. Who was the most valuable valuable player in the NFL? You know, who stood out with the most impressive season? And this normally goes to quarterbacks most of the time. And that will stay that way. So, NFL MVP, I just want to point out an honorable mention that I have is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts finished 14-1 as a starter this year. He threw for over 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He had a really good year, you know, and has powered the Philadelphia Eagles through these playoffs against Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson. And now they're in the Super Bowl, about to get ready to face the NFL MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. This season, Patrick Mahomes did what people thought was the unthinkable. They thought there's no way he can perform without Tariq. There's no way. There's no way you could possibly do that. And I was one of the very few people who actually believed that he could do it. And he did it. Patrick Mahomes, his stat line for the season, 5,250 yards passing, led the NFL. 41 touchdown passes, led the NFL. And he led Kansas City to a 14-3 record as a starter. They beat Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they beat Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, who had beaten them the last 3 times, mind you. So you want to talk about, you know, competition coming into play for this, then you can go with that. But I'm just going off of regular season alone. Patrick Mahomes was the best player and most valuable player of the NFL. Last but certainly not least, the final award of the 2023 NFL Honors Awards Show, the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Walter Payton Man of the Year goes to, you know, the player who, you know, showed as the biggest role model, you know, and giving back to, you know, communities, you know, and who I have up in the running. Not really I think that you know, I have him winning this, but in the running for Walter Payton Man of the Year, I voted Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the one I have in the running to win Walter Payton Man of the Year. So, you can call me a homer if you want, but I just decided to say Dak Prescott because they don't allow him to win anything nowadays. I mean, he should have won Comeback Player of the Year last year, but they didn't give it to him. But, yeah, so those are my awards and people that I voted on. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Kenneth Walker III. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Tariq Woolen. Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year, I have Nick Bosa. Comeback Player of the Year, I have Geno Smith. NFL MVP, I have Patrick Mahomes. And Walter Payton Man of the Year, I have Dak Prescott. So, people, that is the end of this NFL Honors Award show. I know it's obviously a lot shorter than the real thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, I mean, I got a video to upload, so I can't make it that long to where it ends up, you know, getting uploaded late, you know, when the show is already going on. So, I decided that I wanted to take this serious, so I kind of got a little, you know, a little dressed up, you know, not too much. I've never owned a jacket, shirt, and tie before, so I couldn't dress up in that, but, you know, I wanted to dress up a little bit for this occasion. So, with that being said, that has been my time. Like, subscribe, and this is NFL Thoughts.